alive! It's alive! It's alive!
I want to play a game.
Hello and welcome to the Sounds from the Grave podcast. My name is Yussef.
And my name is Vania.
And let's get our Scream Squad together.
Yeah, so as you guys already know, if you guys haven't been gathering the Scream Squad, interrupting much? Anyways, so if you guys haven't, you surely should be able to, or not should be able to, wow, you surely should. Sorry, yeah, girls sleep deprived. But it's been a long day. But yes, you should, because in 2 weeks or less than 2 weeks, it's going to be Halloween Horror Nights, and yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Hell yeah. We're there, almost there.
Yeah, and they only took forever to like announce the last houses. They just kind of want to beat their record. The closer that you are to the event, the more anticipation they want you to have, and that's so annoying. But whatever, it's typical.
I swear, 1 year they're just not even gonna announce houses. They're just gonna drop the event and be like, "Here, have fun, surprise."
Yeah, surprise. Here, have. I was like, oh, you speculate all you want, but guess what? You will never know until you get there. So.
Like you, they'll go completely hardcore with it, where they'll only show you times for houses, but no titles, nothing else. It's just like the waiting times, and you won't know anything until you actually walk into the sound stage, and you're like, "The fuck is this?"
It's like, and then at the end of the house, it says like the credits or the actual name of the house. I'm like, oh,
like that, like that thing they do, when
they do in the movies.
Yeah, like where they don't tell you the title until like the end of the movie, and you're like, okay, here we go. I remember they used to joke about those kinds of movies because we were like, okay, now that was just the prologue. Now the movie can start.
Oh my gosh.
But anyway, so yes.
But yeah, there's a lot, and especially that they all dropped it all at the same time. Everything from the original houses, and why are you laughing?
Because my mind is thinking Horror Nights when Trick or Treat, chocolate eating kid on us and just vomited everything all at once.
Exactly. Here's the thing, though. Can we call this Wicked Growth the HHN takeover? Because this is what it exactly feels like. Twisted Traditions and Wicked Growth had a baby, and that's it. That's like 31. This whole event is basically Wicked Growth.
Yep.
Let's all be real here.
I like that. Yeah, they're going for like a really kind of like old-timey traditional Halloween vibe, and I'm all for it. I like it. I love it.
Crazy is that I've actually seen people on Facebook saying, oh, this year's HHN is going to be lame and all that stuff. And I'm like, do you know our Lord and Savior, Little Boo? And also the one who died on the cross for us.
You know what I say to those people? You know what I say to those people? Good. Fuck off then. Less waiting times for us.
Exactly. That's what I said. I'm like, well, then don't go to the event.
Back off with that shitty attitude.
Oh, by the way, now that we actually are back on this podcast, Yussef, did you actually buy your frequent fare?
I haven't bought shit.
Fuck. You do realize that rumors are that they are about to raise the prices, and you eating over here comiendo mierda, but you know,
I get paid soon. I'm gonna buy when I get paid soon.
Alright, go
I get paid at the end of this week.
Yourself in OBT. Do something for the freaking Damn. Shit.
Over here showing my tobillo, my ankles.
You should gonna show your little booze for some booze.
Hey baby, you want to see my little boo?
I was like, I want my motherfucking little boo beads. Like Jerry Springer.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh! But either way, wow. Yes. So you guys should all just.
This already took a turn.
For not even getting the frequent fare on time. So that's on him.
This episode already took a turn.
Yep. And I'm pretty sure it hasn't even been 5 minutes. I'm sure as shit no that it hasn't been 5 minutes. Here we are.
That's a new record. I mean, I started off as like the guy from that SpongeBob episode that goes like, sounds like a lot of, and I'm like, hoopla! Whoopla!
Whoopla! And you sound like bullshit. Anyway, either way, so guys, there's a lot to get into. I'm guessing we're just gonna prioritize Horror Nights like we always do, and then finish off the rest of our original IPs that they actually repeated in the
I'm
past
sorry, what did you say?
year.
Did you say original IPs?
Fuck again!
We're gonna start off with our original IPs.
Originals,
but
originals. Your mom.
Before we get into any of that, though, you do realize what episode this is, though, right? People, this is our 50th episode.
50th? Oh, I
Holy shit!
We should have been on the 100, but 50th. That's still
Listen,
a lot,
that's still a milestone for us. The fact that we've managed to keep a podcast going for 50 episodes, no matter how long it's taken us, is impressive as fuck.
That's fair. That is fair.
We made it to 50 episodes. Look at us go.
And we actually got an entire lineup for this year's HHN while at it. Yay!
Look at us go.
Look at us go.
Look at us. And actually, I was going to tell you about this before we started recording, but I got an idea for a new episode. Because you know how last year we did, here's all the IP movies that are going to be at Horror Nights. But I want to do something a little different. And that's I'm gonna drop it now.
Crowd,
I don't care. I'm dropping it now.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a trailer. This is a trailer for the new episode.
Okay.
You're a resident expert on lore here. We're going to do a Chupacabra episode. For those of you watching the video, her face is priceless. Because
I'm doing my makeup and then all you see me with I'm just some smug face. Oh my gosh.
I figured, sure, everybody's like, oh, cool, cryptid house, Chupacabra, but I'm like, we should talk about it. We should talk about the history of it, especially because we're both Puerto Rican. It's a Puerto Rican folklore thing. We got to bring it up. Even though they might not go the Puerto Rican route for Horror Nights, I don't give a shit. We still got to bring it up. We got to shame Universal for not going Puerto Rican.
I'm hopeful. That's the thing, because the font scares me, but the description gives me a little hope. It gives me a little hope. Well, like I said, we'll
get to that, yeah. But yeah, definitely, I want you guys to get hyped up for that. Because I know there's a lot of our listeners and a lot of our friends love urban legends, cryptids, and that kind of stuff. We were like, we got to talk about our main cryptid. We got to talk about the Boricua cryptid. Yeah, that's Chupacabra. We got to do it.
I mean, I know that you guys are going to be like, yeah, they're gatekeeping Chupacabra. I'm like, listen, it was first appeared in the Puerto Rican lore. Yes, it has expanded to Mexico and the U.S. We get it.
But it originated.
In Puerto Rico. Like, let us have this. Y'all have the Llorona. You guys already have Bloody Mary and some other thing. Let us have this.
Listen, y'all got Bigfoot.
It's not even that great. I mean, it's not even that great, but it is great because we get some kind of representation.
Everybody's got their own thing. Like, you guys got Bigfoot. Mexico's got La Llorona. Like, people in, I think it's Taiwan. They got that weird lady that's like a face with entrails hanging out, and everybody's got their own thing. Everybody's got their own cryptids. That's just ours. So it's not gatekeeping. It's just that we're proud of it. We're proud to have a cryptid.
Yes. Exactly, 100%.
But yeah, we'll get to more of that into one of our other episodes because I really want to talk about that. But yes, so like we said earlier, Horror Nights was like, bleh, here's all this content, bleh, here's more content, and
they just kind of vomited everything up, and I was like, okay, well, thank you.
But I like how they
didn't
did
really ask this. I mean, I like that they actually finally went to some kind of. I mean, going back to what you said, the whole old-timey, Halloween traditions kind of thing. And, you're going to a festival, you're going to haunts, and this is, the exact thing that Horror Nights is kind of going for.
Yeah, it feels like a hometown haunt.
Yeah, a hometown haunt, and then you see, a bunch of friends. And we actually finally see those characters that they've been trying to introduce us the entire season, all tie in together, and it's really cool how they do that.
I was about to mention that, too. That was a nice little, almost like a trailer video that they did, and I liked how they gave us all those characters at Horror Nights, and they each kind of get their own little spotlight moment relating to each one of the IPs.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you see the video, there's two things that made me laugh. It was definitely the girls' bathroom. I was like, I know where that was filmed. That kind of thing. I was like, oh, that's like the bathroom, like the closest to like the entrance of the park. Obviously, it's the hugest bathroom so far in the park there is, in my opinion. I could be wrong. There's probably other hidden bathrooms in Universal I don't know about. But then again, I always have the need to pee, so I'm pretty sure I discovered all of them.
I feel the need to pee.
Listen, I have a small bladder I'm constantly drinking water, if not drinking. Yeah, it's not a good time, but I was like, I know where that bathroom was filmed. And imagine having all those weekend scare actors, have like a promo in there. I was like, yep, this is very sanitary, but here we are. COVID no more. That's what the logo should have been. COVID no more.
Jesus.
But either way, and also the fact that they all, like I said, they all tie in, and you see like these old cheesy, old-timey Halloween costumes like pumpkins and clowns and something generic, like nothing like. I don't think we even got like a sneak peek of all the scare actors that we might see on the streets.
Probably not, no. But no, I definitely like the idea of, at least like with the scare shows, you seem to be going with that vibe of like a hometown haunt, like something you'd find like in your small town, like in the Cary, Ohio. That would be like a Cary, Ohio type like haunt.
It should be like modern day Cary, Ohio. I think that would be sick.
Can we just add that to the headcanon? It's just set in Cary, Ohio this year. That's it. That's the canon.
Modern Cary, Ohio, and it's like all its little lore is coming to life. And
hell yeah, I
mean,
kind of
by the way, HHN creative team, hire us.
Please, thank you.
Please, thank you. And we know lore. Please, ayúdame. And feed to the wicked, feed to the poor, whatever you need to. Anyway, but now I'm going to start talking like this again, maybe.
No, do not start this shit again.
If you guys haven't seen the last episode, I was annoying the crap out of Yussef.
Like, the last, 10 minutes.
This really weird accent, but yeah, apparently it makes him very uncomfortable when I talk.
Because I'm just not used to that voice. And I'm, trying to have this conversation, and you keep doing that, and it's just throwing me off. You're like Cusco, you're throwing off my groove.
Okay, y'all. We're getting really distracted. Anyway,
we are.
So we're going to go to the houses. Not the houses, the shows first, because it's like the first thing that, we're not sure about, but we kind of have an idea what they're going to be. So the first one, of course, is everybody's favorite, sexy BDSM fire overheating, sexy, I don't know, overstimulating, nipple clamping, fucking
Jesus Christ.
Halloween nightmare.
How much are you going to keep saying?
I mean, have you seen their outfits? Latex pants. Still waiting for my fiance to wear it ever since I saw it. I'm like, please wear latex pants for me. And he's like, absolutely not. But I'm like, but nightmare fuel. And I'm like, it's just Magic Mike for boys and girls and the she gays and days. So let me enjoy. Anyway, so nightmare fuel literally gets everybody wet. Gets their erections going. It's a good time. So now it's actually going to be called Halloween Nightmare Fueled Wildfire. God, this is bad.
Halloween Nightmare Fuel gets everybody wet, gets their erections going. Vania 2022.
Yo, that's my HHN Queen campaign. I'm like, yep. Nightmare Fuel gets everybody wet, everybody hard, and it's at a good time when you go down hard. I don't know.
I don't know. Just stop while you're ahead.
But yes, Nightmare Fuel is coming back. I'm really excited because now I get to watch free porn for free and and sexy dancers and also very cool pyrotechnics. A lot of acrobatic stuff, and basically just a better replacement for Academy of Villains in general. So good job, Universal. You did a good thing. The next one is Ghoulish, a Halloween tale. I don't know what to exactly make of it, but yes. I'm gonna guess it's like that old timey, kids, not kids, but I guess kids turned into very creepy. Tale, whatever. Mm-hmm. But apparently on this description it says, on Halloween night, a ghost story becomes reality as you go beyond the grave in a spectacularly spooky show on Universal Studios Lagoon. Wow.
Why beyond the grave? What? They're going into our home turf.
Hi, why are you driving our turf? Obviously, there's also like they're using our font. Come on now.
I honestly, you know what I like about the font though? It's the vibe that it's giving me. It's giving me kind of like old timey, like Halloween TV specials. You know, it's like here's Dr. Acula's Halloween Spooktacular, like kind of like the HR Blood and Guts thing.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I was
the kind
about
of
to
vibe it gives
say.
me, and I'm like, oh yes, I love it.
Very HR Blood and Guts, and I really hope that
Yes.
it ties into like the whole like Halloween town kind of lore that they're kind of going for. I
Yeah.
know that the only thing that's kind of throwing me off. So there's a lot of things that I have noticed, and again, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. Is that not only are they going for the old timey Halloween feel, and like they're very cheesy, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be scary things that are going to be happening at this event. They're also incorporating a lot of different eras in this
Mm-hmm.
how like HHN, especially with the original houses that they have this year. So they're kind of like very cringingly themed, but you can tell that they're going to be cool. It's very weird. But yes, with the ghoulish, I'm gonna assume the same thing as you. So it's gonna be a good time.
Oh
I
yeah,
honestly,
I'm
I'm
excited for that.
excited.
Like it's gonna be our lagoon show. I know we're gonna have like a bunch of random stuff in there, a lot of awesome like lighting and pyrotechnics and just show stuff, and I'm really excited for that.
Hopefully, a lot of neon lights, but like with the old. You know what would have been perfect for this year's HHN would have been Halloween 3. Yeah, Halloween
Season of the
3.
Witch.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that.
I could
They
see
would.
that. Yeah,
I could see that it would fit into the theme, but unfortunately not this year. But hey, like I said, we do have the original Halloween this year, so
yeah.
we can't complain. We
We're getting
my
Halloween.
verse can't be choosers.
Yeah, so we got our 2 shows. Then we're moving on to our 5 new scare zones, and I'm kind of surprised. I was almost kind of right with what we were going to be talking about, like with our last episode, as to like what the scare zones were going to be themed around, because all the scare zones are very themed around Halloween as a holiday.
Yeah,
Because like the
I
first
mean,
one we have here is going to be called Horrors of Halloween: The Return of Our Lord and Savior, the Pumpkin Lord, with Lil Boo as
that's the
well.
one that has taken over this year's event. I'm gonna assume that's the one in front of the park,
I'm
the one
guessing,
that
yeah,
has
where the
all the
big,
pumpkins
yeah,
and all that
between
stuff.
Shrek, where Shrek used to be in Minions. So,
They're like, damn, Wicked Growth was a hit. We should bring back all these pumpkin vibes that everybody's talking about. They look at the guy that did the Pumpkin Lord last year. You're gonna be in that suit again. Damn it!
I feel like usually I know by the time they're already done with, like they're finishing up last year's Horror Nights, are already planning everything for next year's.
Yeah, but
So
I'm pretty
I
sure
have a
it's
feeling
heavily
that,
based on with our reactions to the
well, that's what I'm
houses.
saying. Yeah, that's what
Wicked
I'm saying. By the
Growth was the hit. I don't know if it was one house of the year. I hope it won
I
house of the year.
think so. But okay, so what
But
I'm thinking is probably by like the halfway point, everybody at Creative realized, hey, we got a fucking hit on our hands with Wicked Growth. Like people are really responding to this like traditional Halloween style vibe, to like this, very much fall autumn based scare.
I mean, duh. Like the
So
fuck.
let's
You guys,
not let's not double down on this. Let's not triple down. Let's like quadruple down on this shit. We're gonna make it fall. We're gonna make this a fall festival.
as we gotta make them snort some pumpkin spice by the time they come back over here. Like, wait.
You come in and you leave a pumpkin. But anyway,
Instead of 9, it's gonna be the quickest birth ever. Instead of like
Jesus,
9 months, you're just gonna be birthing pumpkins for 9 weeks.
you leave with a pumpkin.
You leave with a
come
pumpkin.
come in and you get a free pumpkin. But yeah, Horrors of Halloween is going to be the first scare zone that we got here. It reads, The Pumpkin Lord. The spirit of Halloween has taken over this year's event, summoning hordes of fiendish creature. Terror has taken root. And I love that.
Yeah,
Because it
I
reminds
mean,
me,
I
it
wish they
reminds
would
me,
have created a really just a bigger arch of the one that's in
so,
front of Wicked Growth. But like I
yeah.
said, beggars can't be
And that
choosers.
kind of tells me that it looks like the Pumpkin Lord is going to be our icon this year, since he's taken over the event. I like it. I like it.
I like it.
Also, I like the little callback to one of the earlier years where one of the slogans what evil has taken root.
Oh
And now
yeah.
it says terror has taken root, and I'm like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
It took root, yo.
It's like it's back. But it came back as our Lord and Savior, the Pumpkin Lord. Like, oh, okay.
And then our next scare zone. Oh my god. They just got me with these scare zones, man. Scarecrow Cursed Soil.
Scarecrow.
Everybody knows that
I
Scarecrow the
still
Reaping is one of my
have,
favorite houses, so one of my favorite originals. And I'm glad the Scarecrows are making a comeback.
dude. I'm excited for that. The fact that Scarecrow was claustrophobic
That's
hell for
fuck.
me. Like, dude, like those scarecrows knew no boundaries. They're like, huh, consent? Not in this pumpkin patch. Like, and it's like, oh, okay.
No. We ain't messing around like that.
Yeah, and I mean, well, you know what I mean. They
Yeah.
know that we want to snort pumpkins. They're like, you getting pumpkins? I'm like, you guys were so scared of scarecrows, and it was so claustrophobic. It was dark. They're in your face. They're loud, and the fact that we're getting it as a scare zone is really fucking cool. So
I love it. I'm all for it. So
Yeah.
let's go. The description on this one is: at an abandoned farm, scarecrows have risen from the crust of the earth to hunt you and seek revenge. They'll harvest your screams. I love it.
It's Monsters
I
Inc.
love
Bass over that.
Oh no.
Oh no, they're harvest my
Mike
scream.
Wazowski.
Wazowski. No, I'm kidding. Well, I need to stop referencing Disney shit in this podcast. I'm gonna get canceled. Jesus Christ. But either way, it's gonna be a good time. I'm excited, and the
Yes.
fact that it's coming back, it's gonna be a good time.
Alright, so the next one we got Sweet Revenge. I love the theming behind this. I love the logo. I love the little cartoon mascot that they have for this, like the evil looking guy with the mustache and the top hat. I'm like,
Yeah, and what I
give
love
me.
more is the description. The description is fucking like crazy. I was like, I
Yes.
could have been casted for this, but here we are. You know, me not being hostile, but by the way, Universal, I still love you.
Sweet Revenge. And I love the description for this too. The sweets from Major Sweets' candy company have turned children into crazed killers. This Halloween is all trick, no treat, and total mayhem. Holy shit.
It's like little kids that just fucking
Killer kids.
Yes, and they turn in. So basically, children of the corn. They want candy. They
Children
turn
of the
into
candy
killers.
corn.
Children of the candy corn. That's what they did.
I love it. Children of the candy corn.
So yes,
I'm in.
I am super excited, and this seems really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how they're gonna be using the. So we're gonna have the candy theme in New York because we've been seeing the pictures and all
Yeah.
that stuff. The one thing that I'm kind of questioning is the way that they have the layout for down the alley. It's more like a meat area. I don't know if that's supposed to be like another take on Mr. Meats kind of thing.
Maybe.
You know, with the cartoony like mascot
Yeah.
and
I
all
love
that
the look of him because it's very like 1930s rubber hose animation style. And I love that.
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
So it's a little bit, you know, pretty out there.
Yeah.
So
I like it. I like the direction that they're going with this.
yeah.
And
Me
then
too.
moving on, we have something very, very traditional, and I like that too. It's called Graveyard Deadly Unrest.
Basically graveyard games.
Yep. But listen to But I love the description for this one too. On All Hallows Eve, a dark storm descends upon a cemetery and awakens long dead spirits. No one living can escape them. Hell yeah.
Like
So like I said, I like that they're going for like different like variations of Halloween. Because you
different
got
variations of the Halloween, but I feel like what's helping them a lot is a lot of the popular hits from the past.
yeah.
Because we have Horrors of Halloween, Wicked Growth, Scarecrow, Scarecrow, The Reaping, and then we have Sweet Revenge. Like I said, it gives me Mr. Meats vibes, but for like kids and candy. Graveyard, Deadly Unrest. is Graveyard Games, but
Yeah.
you know, I was Scare Zone, and then Conjure the Dark. I haven't gone that far.
So,
But
well, what I like so far is that it kind of covers like different aspects of Halloween as a holiday. So you've got the Horrors of Halloween, which is going to be very fall vibe, very pumpkin based. Then you've got Scarecrow, which is very much like farm based, like kind of hometown type of thing.
yeah,
You got Sweet Revenge with the whole like going out for candy and like the whole candy theming around the holiday, and then you've got Graveyard, which is like like that very old tradition of this is the one time of year where the dead can come back and walk amongst the living. Like it's going to the very traditional Halloween route, and I am loving that. Um, and it feeds into our the last scare zone, Conjure the Dark, because this one reads on the first All Hallows Eve. An evil sorceress called forth monstrosities from dark dimensions. Now your blood will fuel them.
thank you.
And it's like I remember, like I said, with when we saw the pictures for that, I'm like, I feel like it's going to be something to do with the first ever Halloween, like the first Samhain, and that's what it is, the first Hallows Eve.
That's really cool.
And I love that they're going for that. They're going for like even the mystical aspect of it, like the folkloric aspect. So like they were like, there's all these things around Halloween as a holiday, Halloween as a celebration, Halloween as a story, and they're like, let's just explore every single facet of that with these scare zones, and I love that they're doing that.
I agree as well. It's like I said, it's just going to be for us. The fact that we can't experience fall properly and we get to experience it at an event. I don't know if Universal has ever done something so traditional like this instead of just like. I really like the theming for 2019 where they did the whole 80s gaming synthwave vibe.
Yeah.
Then like in 2020 it was like 2020 was a weird year because it was like very IP heavy, but it was mostly based around popular monsters like Beetlejuice, Bride of Frankenstein Lives, the
Yeah.
old traditional folklores of Tooth Fairy. I still very much love them. Because unpopular opinion, fuck whoever insults my fairies. Don't talk to me and my fairies like that ever again. Anyway, and the fact that we always complain about how Central Park hasn't been covered in pumpkin since. We're getting that plus double.
We are.
So
We're just getting pumpkins. They should just call this Highway Horror Nights 31 pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Just pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Our Lord and Savior, Boo, who died for our sins, the Pumpkin Lord.
Oh man, so much great stuff coming up, man. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well.
Yeah. So, not only did we get our shows, we also got our scare zones. We also got the rest of the 6 houses that we're going to be seeing this year. They're all originals. They're all going to be exciting. But yeah, we're going to dive right into those. So I guess we can take turns if you want to read off the first one that we have on here after Wolfman versus Dracula versus Mummy.
Okay. So the first one is Spirits of the Coven. And like I have already said, told you guys, they're kind of going for like different eras of theming about what was popular among the time, I guess. And then it's obviously witches because Spirits of the Coven, I don't know if you would know anything else that's a coven, but but on this description, a beautiful flapper witches will lure you into their 1920s speakeasy and reveal their haggish true form and turn your Scream Squad into Witch's Brew, which, by the way, the alcoholic drink, pretty good. Theme park and bar, if you're hearing me, please. They'll be cackling and you'll be screaming.
I love this. I love that they're going for witches with this awesome, 20s speakeasy flapper twist. It's Great Gatsby with witches. Give me more.
It's a vibe, honestly. I can't wait to see where this goes and the fact that, all the different, I don't know, the take on it. And, it's like Snow White meets 1920s.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I love it. I love that they're, again, going for traditional, but with a bit of a twist. I love that.
I'm digging it. I love that. It's just
Yes.
I can just imagine like them with like their little flapper dresses and also like but then again like if they're gonna be like horrifying, like them just they're like stirring us like it's like spill the tea and then they're like pouring alcohol because of the prohibition age. Like I was like,
Yup.
yep, that it's your blood kind of thing.
I love it.
So
While you got
that's
like
really
like
good.
20s like swing music playing. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. The next one we have is I don't know how I feel about this. This might be the
It
one
has
that
a lot
scares
of
me.
things. And the thing is, like, there's a lot of talks about this house.
We're gonna be talking
Go ahead.
bugs eaten alive. These bugs are out to exterminate you. um, okay, so let me read the description for this because it's I'm feeling great but also very scared at the same time.
Yeah.
So let me read about that. While touring a 1950s home of the future, you'll be surrounded by the slime of bugs everywhere as hordes of many-legged terrors descend upon you and your scream squad. You'll be dropping like flies. Okay, the setting I love. 1950s version of the future, so like kind of like Tomorrowland, kind of like that chrome-plated, like oh the perfect 50s future type of thing.
Yeah.
I love that idea. I don't like bugs.
Oh, I knew that. If you guys didn't know that, Yusef is terrified of bugs.
I
Well,
don't like
I am
bugs.
too. I mean, I don't too, but I kind of gotten used to it because my fiance is like crazy in love with bugs.
If
But
they like I can stand a bug if I can see it like on a display case or like a zoo or something. um but the I don't know, man. Like
but
the moment a giant roach shows up, I'm done. Or a giant grasshopper shows up, and the moment any of those two creatures show up, I'm done. Spiders I
what's
have really
funny
have much of a problem with, but roaches and grasshoppers I don't like specifically.
It's an island thing, guys. Don't take it personally.
Well,
We have
roaches.
massive ones on the island, so we're kind of terrified of them. I mean, if you guys think, yes, New York rats are big and everything else, but Puerto Rico,
Puerto Rican roaches are built
Florida,
different.
they were built different. They were met. They went to the military and came back with a rage. Honestly, like they went to like. They went to the hood. They went to La Perla. They went everywhere,
They
and
live in
then
La Pena.
terrorized. They went. They went places, bro.
They live in places. So we'll
So
see what happens. I think it's still gonna be really fun. I'm definitely gonna be getting scared a lot. I feel like, especially because I feel like they're gonna be going for like that '50s monster movie vibe of like, hey, the nuclear terror, we made giant creatures type thing.
yeah. So
Kind of like the
basically,
vibe I'm getting,
sci-fi dining experience at Hollywood Studios.
but scarier.
Yeah, not a vibe. But
But
the thing is that with all that being said, Seeds of Extinction, this is weird. I don't like nature. Like and Seeds of Extinction managed to scare the crap out of me because I know people are blended in their surroundings and I don't expect them or see them. With bugs, I don't like, but I feel like this house, even though it looks cheesy, it looks very Slaughter Cinema. I heard that it is going to be everybody's worst nightmare because they're purposely trying to make it not intimidating, but it's actually going to be very terrifying because they know that's like one of like people's one biggest
oh
fears.
god, oh boy.
So I'm hearing a lot of things right now about this house, and that's the one that everybody's talking about right now.
Oh boy.
But let's talk about the most important thing. Honestly, not trying to be out here, but the next one is the Fiesta of Chupacabras of the Fiesta de Chupacabras. They should have said de la Chupacabras. They should have said la Fiesta de la Chupacabra. But anyway, grammar. Fuck it. Sorry, Universal, but Spanish. Gotta get with this. Gotta get with the money. So in La Fiesta de Chupacabra, if you look at the font, it looks Mexican
Yeah.
a little bit. I mean, with the top part specifically, but and also like the font of Fiesta and whatever. But I'm gonna read the description. Visit a Latin American village where the legend of the creature chupacabras is celebrated in a colorful fiesta. And the streets are lined with the crimson blood of tourists like you and your amigo. So,
yeah.
I'm like, they could be talking about people who live in the Yunque, or people like, villagers that they live in the
Listen,
countryside.
they say tourists. They say tourists. I'm expecting like condado.
Yeah, like condado, that kind of thing.
There's just like a bunch of hotels. Just a bunch of drunk white people.
Right.
Like that's all the strategy. Just a bunch of drunk white people.
At the same time, like the part that's kind of like, oh, like it might take a Mexican route with the colorful thing, like how kind of like they
Not
do
to say
with
that we
Dia
don't
de
do colorful.
Muertos.
Not to say that we can't be colorful, because we do a lot of colorful stuff, but like.
But we celebrate the Chupacabra.
Like... What is getting me is the whole thing with amigos. I don't know why. That like it's kind of rubbing me the wrong way.
Oh yeah.
It's like you and your amigos. It's kind of like a token Spanish word to throw in there. Just be like, hey, it's in Spanish.
I mean, have you seen the title? The title's not even written right. But at the same time, I'm gonna give it the benefit of a doubt. I really hope that they did their research, especially if they did it on La Llorona like years ago, and especially if it's something that's kind of praised at HHN Hollywood. I hope that they don't do us dirty, please. Yeah. Like, don't do us dirty. Give us a representation. Do something. Like I'm very much looking forward to see what the take on the Chupacabra is going to be on their end.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say this one last thing, and this is giving me like we're gonna see like the Hibaro vibes and other stuff. So
what I would love to see.
What?
Like the angry grandma, like mira, salte vete pa tu casa. She's got like the frying pan and everything. She's got like the chancla out.
She's like, vete a tu casa, la chupacabra. They're like kids, like oh, the chupacabra's gonna get you. But in Spanish, but we'll see. But
then they gotta throw in like some kid just going, "Bye, bunny baby." If they go to the Puerto Rican.
I wouldn't tell my man like that, bro.
Just like it's a fake scare.
Bye, bunny baby. Anyway, we're having way too much fun.
Honestly, but like, not gonna lie, if they go the Puerto Rican route, what I would love to have, just as a facade as you're walking into the village, just play some reggaeton.
Oh my god!
Like you're walking in, all you hear is reggaeton, and you're like, "Oh, this is it. Now I know we're in for real."
I was like, "I'm home."
Like you can smell tostones, you can smell bacalao and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm in. You got me.
It'd be cool if they did throw us into the.
Let's go to Piñones.
Yunque route, but
Or Piñones.
Piñones, yeah.
That kind of like a beachside village.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Imagine if they toss in the Perla. I'm like, oh, this ain't it. I know it's colorful, but this ain't it.
This ain't it, yo. This ain't the vibe, man. Like, no. Back up. This is scarier than the actual chupacabra.
Alright, guys, we can actually make fun of our shit. But, like, we actually.
For those of you that don't know, La Perla is like the hottest, like the seediest part of Puerto Rico.
It's funny because the Perla is like, it's the ghetto, but it's one of the prettiest ghettos that you'll ever be in.
Exactly. It's also one of the most dangerous.
It's one of the most dangerous. If you don't speak Spanish or you don't know someone that lives inside the Perla, guess what? You kind of fucked.
Yeah.
Or you better hope that, you can cover up your tracks and expect that no one knows that you're from there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you guys don't know what the Perla looks like, look up Despacito.
Pretty much. But anyway, moving on to our next house here, Hellblock Horror. Ooh. So, Hellblock Horror, we enter a prison whose savage inmates are monstrous creatures. If they break free from their cells, it's a death sentence for everyone. So, I'm curious, are they going to be like actual creatures, or is it just like
mutated humans,
or just like mutants, or not mutants, or like humans that are just so despicable they're creatures, or like they're just like monstrous, like they're like legit monsters? Like, hey, this kid, like this guy killed like 85 people and then went to Wendy's or something, like this like the worst that humanity has to offer type thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make
Like if
of
they're
it
gonna
because
go for a
there's
more
not much
human
on the
route, yeah.
description.
Because
So
it's saying monstrous creature, so I'm thinking like maybe they, like that whole thing of like, oh yeah, they experimented on prisoners or something like that. Like that could be like the vibe that they're going for.
or like they're so bad that they kind of started like a program to experiment
Yeah,
on inmates, and like it was like their almost like their consequence kind of thing.
yeah,
So
almost like, oh yeah, we can like try and like go into their brains and like, make them docile or like change their murderous tendencies or something. But then they ended up making it worse.
I don't know. It's kind of like
It's very open ended.
the very like the thing went to prison
The
kind of
thing went
vibe.
to prison. It's interesting. I like the font for it. I like the little title card that they used for it. It's interesting. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Anything set in a
it's not
jail
much
is
to
really
go
weird
off
already.
of. It's very weird. It's very much a one-liner.
Yeah.
So we don't know what to make of it. We hope that it's good, and I know this is really bad, but I really hope that they bring back like the crawling route for the
Mm.
houses like they did in Walking Dead years ago. I miss that shit.
Oh yeah.
I want to at least do that one more
Let me
time.
crawl.
Let me crawl. Let me feel like I'm getting out of prison one last time. I mean, wait.
Escape from Alcatraz.
Let's escape from Alcatraz.
But what's our next one?
So our next one, it is very weird.
I'm into it.
It is because when the pictures for this came out, assuming it's this one. Oh no, not even the pictures. This is a house. Wait, but then what is that? I don't know. Anyway, ignore me. So the next one is Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake, and it's I'm gonna assume it's like the almost like that house that we had years ago, where it's like colonization of like sailors and
Yeah.
all this other stuff, but it's gonna be like during the winter time and like whatever. But let's read the description. In New England, fishing village, undead fishermen emerge
Stop
from
it.
the waves to seek their revenge. You and your Scream Squad may have escaped their hooks in the scare zone, but now they'll reel you in and drag you under. Which makes me wonder. Oh God, I rhymed. Like that scare zone that we have in the
Wasn't it
like in front of
Dead Man's
fashion.
Wharf?
Hmm?
Wasn't there a scare zone called Dead Man's Wharf at one point?
Yeah, at
So
one
this would
point.
be,
But the thing
yeah.
is, like we saw the scare zones and they don't follow that vibe. But apparently, we're gonna have a scare zone with the house.
I think it's a sequel. Like kind of like what we've done, where like it was a scare zone first, and it was a house. Like Dead Man's Wharf was a scare zone, and we saw that in Eddie's Zone last year. Remember the
Yeah,
fishermen? That was from Dead Man's Wharf because they were all supposed to be creatures from the scare zones that year in Eddie's Zone.
yeah.
So
But
yeah, and I remember there was a scare zone called Dead Man's Wharf. So I'm guessing they're like, oh, people like these characters. It reminds them. I mean, it reminds me of the Fog because it's kind of
yeah,
similar. It's a New England fishing village, like sailors that had died years ago come back to make chaos. So yeah, Dead Man's Wharf. Now we get Dead Man's Pier.
I'm just wondering because if I don't know if you've seen the pictures that there's like this scare zone that it has all these Norwegian ruins and all this other stuff, and
I'm
it has
thinking.
like
I
a
think that's
Norwegian
the.
compass, and it's like it looks wintry, but the thing is like I didn't see a scare zone, or I could be wrong, or I might have just been like, "Ugh,"
I think it
over
has
my
to do
head
with.
kind of thing.
I think it has to do with the last one we talked about, the one about like the first All Hallows Eve, and how like the witch like brings back monsters.
Yeah, that's
Because
fair.
there's like a chalice and there's like a giant like goblet type thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking it might be that it might be that scare zone.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I was wrong. Um, Makes sense, but because everybody was like saying, "Oh, like that Norwegian rune looks like a winter symbol." I'm like, it's not. It's a Norwegian compass. So I thought it was like related, especially since there was like the scare zone mentioned in there. I'm like, wait, like
Yeah.
so it was a lot. But either way, Dead Man's Wharf has a baby, and it's Dead Man's Pier. Winter Quake. So hopefully, since I'm guessing it was really popular. I don't think I actually was able to experience it. In the past, I'm pretty sure it happened in one of the years that I was able to go. But
I'll have to look through it because I don't remember it.
Because you don't remember it?
I think it might have been a year I wasn't there. It might have been either 21 or 26.
Yeah, but I wasn't a frequent Fear pass holder until 27. So it was probably one of those houses that I couldn't make it through because I only had, my strategy only worked so long where you start from the back and then the event got really big and then now everybody fucking knows your strategy and then we all became HHN whores and yeah, it was a vibe. But either way, yeah. No. So
yeah,
next one.
No.
Yeah, no, I haven't been through it. So our next one is, but as you guys already said, different vibes. So this is like old timey New England kind of thing. Then we have like Prison Break, the musical horror. I mean, I'm
Prison
kidding.
Break the musical. Jesus Christ. No, I'm just thinking of like Wentworth Miller just like dancing around with all the tattoos on his back.
We got Hell Block Horror Picture Show. And
oh
then we have Hibaro House. And then we get the Raid Can House. And then there's
So yeah, we're looking at jazz. You like jazz?
Jazz and crystals.
We're getting It's Tough to Be a Bug.
It's tough to be a bug.
We're getting the Hibaro Hell Block Horror Picture Show. Cape Cod, the music.
Cape Cod, oh my god.
And now we're getting The Descendants.
Wicked. No, I'm kidding.
We're getting Descendants of Destruction as our last house.
Not Descendants from Disney.
The Descendants 3.
Don't ask me why I know that song.
Oh god, I already do not like the description for this. Like it says Descendants of Destruction, deeper, darker, deadlier. Disney, what happened?
Way to end this lineup.
Disney,
anyway.
What happened?
Disney.
Immediately we're like deeper. I was like, whoa, easy now.
It's time to represent the 4Ds. Disney, deeper, darker, deadlier.
That's actually what the 4Ds in Shrek stood for.
It's like
Shrek 4D.
What are you? I'm a triple D, but what number? No, I represent the 3D. Deeper, darker, and deadlier.
So it's actually Shrek 4 Disney, deeper, darker, deadlier.
Rated D for everyone.
Rated D for everyone.
Anyways,
Rated
so
D for deeper.
Description for Descendants of Destruction. Careful not to leave any of your Scream Squad behind, including Yussef, but I will 100% leave him behind. As you descend into the subways of the tunnels, inserted. Oh, wait.
What?
Deserted.
Inserted deeper? What? Do you want to try that again? As you inserted.
I am rated D for dick deprived. Long distance is hard, y'all. Anyway.
You want me to read it?
Descendants of Destruction. Careful not to leave any of your Scream Squad behind. This is including my imbecile of a freaking host, Yussef.
Hola.
As you descend the subways, tunnels, deserted in New York, lurking in the dark are hungry mutants looking to feast on the remnants of humanity. It doesn't make it any better, the fact that they're hungry, but okay.
And they're going deeper.
At best.
They're cannibals and they're deeper.
Oh.
And they're inserting.
Inserted tunnels. Wait. But yeah, so
are we just going to the Bronx?
So we have man, what was that house? Kink House, the moving trailer.
Jesus Christ. So we got Party Bus.
Party Bus.
That's gonna be the new. We're gonna call that. There's Descendants. This is gonna be the Party Bus.
The Party Bus.
Or the Party Subway.
what was it? Man, what was it called? Brazzers.
What?
Oh, guys, I know too much. Sorry. Anyway, so that was our 6 houses. As my co-host is dying and I'm casually doing my makeup.
We were so well behaved until we got to this one. I don't know what happened with this one. I think it just killed me when I just read deeper. I was done. It was just gone. It's done.
The respect gone.
Gone.
My morals
gone.
Non-existent. My ovaries destroyed.
My interest
Nightmare
deeper.
Fuel. Damn, something's competing with Nightmare Fuel. Shit.
Apparently.
Anyway.
Listen, you're the one that inserted first, okay?
Insert. Deeper. Darker, deadlier. And we're done, guys. We're not going to give you guys...
Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, man. So, yeah, these are our 6 houses. I'm super excited for them. Of course, as you guys already saw, this year is very original heavy.
I love it.
So, and the fact that we're getting like an old-timey Halloween feel is going to be a different vibe, and I'm honestly living all for it. And I honestly cannot wait to see everybody in the fog, and it's going to be a good time.
Hell yeah.
And my wallet's going to hurt, and yeah, great.
I'm ready. Take my money.
Take my money. I mean, I don't know if my wallet's going to hurt as bad as last year, but I'd be surprised if it competes, honestly.
We'll see what happens, because mine might hurt a little bit. Yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
because I've been good. I've been saving.
Hmm?
I've been good. I've been saving my money because of this.
Apparently not saving your money, and yet you still can't afford their frequent fear.
I didn't say I couldn't afford it. I just said I haven't bought it because I'm lazy. Because I'm a procrastinating idiot. But no, I have enough money.
And you let the prices freaking raise up. Damn, cost friendly. We love that.
Anyway, all right. Fine. Well, we finished part 1 of this podcast, which was all of the crazy announcements that we got, the vomiting, the throw up of announcements that we got. But now we're finishing up our 3-part series on HHN Originals. Or I'm sorry, HHN Original IPs.
It's been a lot, but
HHN Original IPs. I'm sorry.
Oh no!
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up. Anyway.
So we explored the 1990s, we explored the 2000s, and now we're exploring the 2010s. Holy shit. So the 2010s, we don't have a whole lot of stuff that started in the 2010s, just because the 2010s were really IP heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy IPs. But we did get some good stuff in there, some like golden HHN Originals came around this time.
Fair.
Starting with 2010, Legendary Truth. So, kind of weird, because I know Legendary Truth technically started in 2008 with Boris and Bloody Mary and Boris's investigation of Bloody Mary. But our first official house related to Legendary Truth was 2010, and that was called the Wyandotte Estate.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, and it was a house based around a spirit-seeking group that was invented in 2008. I think it was called like Spirit Seekers, kind of like Ghost Adventurers or like Ghost Hunters, like those kind of things.
Hey, yo, demons or ghosts! It's ya boy getting paid $80 an hour to go to a house.
Yep.
To investigate what the fuck's wrong. It's like playing Phasmophobia and still getting the demon and what's wrong, but it's so frustrating. I would know. I hate it.
But what's cool is the story itself featured the Spirit Seekers actually building a machine that would attract ghosts, because that's a good idea.
We love
a great idea.
instigate ghosts and tell them what they're doing with their lives, and then they're like, "Oh,
it reminds me of this whole like stand-up comedian that was making fun of, not necessarily making fun of, but like talking about how Steve Irwin's show used to be. Like the Friday 100, where he's like, "That's a rattlesnake, one of the largest and most dangerous snakes in the world. I'm gonna go poke it with a stick."
Yeah,
like that's what this feels like. It's like the ghosts are some of the most dangerous creatures in all of like legend. We're gonna build a machine that attracts them.
Oh, let's see how that goes when you like. Didn't he get stung by a stingray and died anyway?
He did, yes.
Yeah, I was like, well, I'll teach you. He's probably in the wrong heaven. He's like in pet heaven or animal heaven instead of
Listen, he was still a very big proponent of like animals and like learning about animals. Like he wasn't there to like bother animals.
Yeah,
like, it's just like the guy was just like making fun of the show, but like he was very much like like an animal person. Like he loved animals.
And I like that his daughters kept on his legacy and all that.
Yeah, it's great.
I love how we started talking about Animal Planet.
Anyway. But what's really interesting, I actually didn't even know this at the time. I didn't even think this was a thing in 2010, but parts of the house had live feed cameras that actually live stream to the internet so people could see reactions.
Oh,
like they wouldn't show a lot of the house itself, but they would show reactions. And I'm like, I had no idea that it was. Like, can you imagine somebody sitting in their house, like watching other people get scared at Horror Nights, just like, oh,
like this is great.
This is awesome. I wish this
was
me.
I wish I could go. I have no money. I live in my mom's basement. Sorry, I'm not talking to anybody. I get it. I live in my mom's basement too. I live in my mom's house, but still.
I was gonna say, we're in Florida. Florida doesn't have basements.
You can make them.
Shut up. Listen, yeah, because you're gonna go deeper, right?
And deadlier.
And darker.
Insert into tunnel, daddy. Anyway.
Anyway. But we would not see the return of Legendary Truth in like that big an aspect until last year, with one of my favorite houses, Case Files. Case Files.
Yeah, that's when we actually saw like the Case Files and the adventures of Boris Chester and everything that he's gone through, and discoveries of all the mystical creatures that he's come across, from little devil seductress women to like Cthulhu looking motherfuckers. But it is a good time. It is very, that whole aspect of Legendary Truth is between ghost hunting and Lovecraftian cryptids.
Yes.
It's a very interesting concept.
I absolutely loved it. It was like such a great blend of sci-fi horror with like noir elements and like that detective story type thing. One of the things I also really liked about this house too, and that how heavily it tied into Universal itself, with like the Kitty Cat Club and Boris's window in the New York area.
Yeah, now that like that's a hot spot. Nobody wants to leave that area now.
And I love the fact that because I got to do the Three House tour, Behind the Screams tour last year, and this was included in the Three House tour. And the scene where you go into the sewers, it was modeled after actually going from Boris's office, going into the sewers across the street, and then ending up at the Kitty Cat Club. So like if you were to actually follow the trajectory of Universal, it would go from Boris's office, you would cross the street, then get to the Kitty Cat Club. You would just be doing it through the sewers.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm like, that's badass. I love that they tied all that together. Like they tied it into the actual architecture of Universal.
There's no better way to do it, honestly.
Yeah. And they also had all the totems from the Legion of Horror, which is like something I'm not super familiar with. I'm like, it's always kind of confused me. So like I know there's like the Morphins, and that's all I know because I took a test once and I was a Morphin. That's the only thing I remember about them. Yeah. We need to go back and like read those because I don't remember anything about them. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this. I never got this interaction, but Madame Muri at the Kitty Cat Club sometimes would sing a Billie Eilish song.
Oh, really?
That's like a little like Easter egg as to we would have gotten Billie Eilish at some point before the whole thing with COVID fell through.
Been in the same location?
I don't think it would have been the same location. I think it was just like an Easter egg.
Hmm. Maybe.
Could be. I don't know. But
Anyway,
if you want to move on to our next one,
our next one, it is, I do remember this one very vividly, and
Those
it
were
is
fun.
Havoc.
the
And I know
Dogs
that one of them
War.
was called like Havoc War Dogs or something like that.
Dogs of War.
Dogs of War. And then, so it started in 2010. It was based on a secret government facility to create super soldiers, basically Captain America on crack. Cast to shave their heads to stay in character. And then in 2010, it won House of the Year. So
Yep.
I know that is very common in Halloween Horror Nights. They ask you if you're willing to shave your head. I have wanted to work for Halloween Horror Nights for so long. That is the one thing I am not willing to sacrifice. And I know that now. Because you know why? Because my hair, I have had a undercut and it is taking forever to grow back. So no thank you.
Yeah, I liked that house. I remember much about that house. I remember going through it. I just don't remember details about it. Like I mostly remember the pre-show of like the guys like experimenting, like being experimented on. I remember one of like the POVs was like from a security camera, and you see like one of the guys breaking out and starts killing people and stuff. Like I mostly remember the pre-show queue in the queue more than the actual house.
Yeah, me too. But it just probably felt with the whole horror aspect of the military, like creating super soldiers, it was probably really good. Like, I agree with you. I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember the military aspect. And then again,
I actually remember the second house that came out, the one in 2013 that you'll get to in a second.
Yeah, which I'm about to go to right now. Actually, 2013, it was set in a train that would later crash, and it takes place in Cary, Ohio. Bloody Mary can actually be seen in the monitor.
Yeah, because I remember that was called Havoc Derailed. I remember loving that house because it was literally the entire time you were on this train, and halfway through, the train is supposed to crash, and they flip the train upside down. So, like, you would look up and you would see, like, like the seats, like, above you instead of, you'd be walking on the ceiling, essentially, because they flipped the train. Remember, that was really, really cool.
Would have been cooler if they did it in an earthquake, but, But again, that's when I'm guessing, like, earthquake was at its last limbs, and
I think at that point it was already disaster.
Yeah, it was already disaster.
And I remember it was actually located close to it because it was located where Leave It to Cleaver was. It was in the same location.
They should have kept the house there.
Well, I think they can't now because of Fast and Furious.
Whatever. Anyways, next house.
Next one we got Sauce and Steam. So this came out for the first time in 2010 as a scare zone, and it was set in a dystopia where people were harvested for water, and it was actually the scare zone of the year. So people were essentially crushed into, because we're all made of 70% of water. 70% of the human body is water. So like, hey, that's free. It's free real estate. They're like, water. So essentially they would take you like an orange and squeeze the hell out of you and you would produce water.
Damn. What was it? That scare zone we had last year?
Seek and Destroy.
Seek and Destroy was for oil. That's essentially a sequel to it.
Could be. I like it. I like that idea. It's just set in the future now. They're like, we don't need water, we just need oil. We don't need to drink water.
Anyways, so the next year
came back in 2011 as a house. It was actually, funny enough, the first time a scare zone was upgraded into a house. And expanded the lore of Sauce and Steam as to like kind of like the politics of it, how people were selected for that, because it was like, oh, you won the quote-unquote lottery and you're going to get to go to paradise, and paradise was you getting thrown into the factory and being turned into water, which was terrifying. It reminded me of something like Logan's Run and like those types of like dystopian like societies. It was also the last house located in the Joss queue, because after that Joss was gone. It went bye-bye.
It went bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Sharky.
A good ride, but there was a lot of incidents that happened, so
Too many to count.
too many to count. So I don't blame them.
Yeah. So what is our next one?
Our next one is a house that I kind of okay. So it's Nightingales for you guys that you know. Yeah. Anyway, so it's Nightingales. In 2011, I have a very not so great memory of this house, but I know that it scared me. It is set in the trenches of World War One. Creatures would feed on the sick and dying soldiers, based on the Florence Nightingale, a British social reformer. So, yeah, I remember it being terrifying, but I don't remember lots of details.
Hmm.
I do remember seeing it, though. But in 2019, I hated this house because it scared me so much. Reason why it scared me, it's because of the smells and just the claustrophobic feeling of being underneath the Colosseum. But let me explain a little bit further. It was a prequel set in Roman gladiator times. Lion puppet was used in the lion puppet was used from scary tales, and it gave a different look to Nightingales because they were less evolved.
Yeah, I remember they looked more like bird-like in this.
Yeah.
They were more like they made him look more like vultures almost.
Yeah, but still, just the smells and the idea of going underneath the Colosseum where it's dark.
I was
And,
loving that house.
every time it got me.
That house. I remember actually that was one of the houses where I went. That and Graveyard Games, where I went right before they were about to close, and I did a solo walkthrough. It was just me by myself, nobody in front, nobody behind me. And I got every single scare actor. They were like, "This is how we're gonna close out the night with this idiot walking in here by himself." And at one point, I actually had to get like, I got turned around, and I almost bumped into something, and I went into like the wrong room.
Oh,
And I had to get like one of the team members to be like, "No, no, no, you're supposed to go that way." I was like, "Oh shit, you're right."
like damn, sorry, fam.
My
Anyway,
bad, yo, my bad. But yeah, it was a great house. I like that house. It was one of the most immersive things because of the smell for me.
and the claustrophobic of it all.
Yeah.
I never wanted to look up after that. I was just like, every time I went through, I'm like, I'm just going through because it's like the least amount of time on this thing. But
Oh no, I
goddamn,
was just like mystified by everything because I've always liked that period of time, like the the ancient Roman Empire. I've always found that really interesting. So I was just like looking at all the architecture and like the clothing and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is so cool. And then of course I would get immediately scared because I was busy focusing on other stuff.
was like, damn it, good job.
They got
like,
me.
oh. But anyways, our next house, or technically
Yes.
original,
Original.
is going to be Bayou of Blood. In
Yes.
2014, it was a scare zone first, and it featured the voodoo practitioners in the bayou with human sacrifices, the first appearance of the lovely voodoo queen.
Yes, the Voodoo Queen. I remember love it. I love that scare zone because I remember every once in a while they do the little show with like the human sacrifice and like the whole voodoo, practices and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is really cool. Like I would just sit there and watch it.
It was so much like I love the culture of like the New Orleans, Louisiana voodoo vibes, and you can make it scary, but it's also like fascinating because
Mm-hmm.
those that's like almost like a part of history,
Yeah.
but they also make it so glamorized. I love it. I love that whole aesthetic of the Bayou of Blood.
Yeah, it was really well executed in terms of like the culture of it.
Yeah.
And it would come back in 2017 as the House Dead Waters. So
Look it up.
it was a pestilent swamp in Louisiana ruled by the Voodoo Queen. Now what's really cool about this, some of the trees in the bayou were actual trees that they planted in there,
Ah, nice.
like legit trees. We also had a zombie Mark Twain inside the riverboat that was all tilted, which is a really cool tilted floor effect. I love that. And another
My
little,
ankle would hurt though.
a nice, cute, cool little Easter egg too. The Voodoo Queen's lair had a lampshade from human skin that would later appear that also appeared in 2016's version of Texas Chainsaw.
Oh, I didn't even know that. But yes, the whole tilting of the boat, man, my ankles would hurt. And the fact that they did it again for Seeds of Extinction, like that same tactic, and I mean, I like it because I like the whole you're walking on unbalanced land.
Yeah.
But damn, my ankles,
My ankles.
my ankles, my ankles.
Yeah, but we're getting down to our last one here, and we're leaving it up to you.
Yes, so it is one of my favorites. Well, like I think it's one of my favorites in the sense that so it first appeared in 2016. I first experienced this. I'm pretty sure it was a hit, and I'm pretty sure it was also like Scare Zone of the year, if not. But it was definitely a fan favorite, and it was Vamp 55. And it was like a homecoming at a high school, and all these not zombies, wow, all these vampires roaming wild. There was a screaming prom queen. There was a vampire that was selling like limbs and all that stuff. And obviously we see it again at like the Eddie's Lights Camera Action featured in that area. It was so cool because they also had a lot of like the 50s music that they would play, but at the same time, I also did realize they played Blue Velvet, and Blue Velvet actually came out in the 60s. So, but I was like, you're bad.
A little anachronism there.
But either way, it was still a vibe, and it was fantastic, especially with all like the dresses and the old timey 1950s vibe. It was great. I loved it. But it is to come back in 2018, which it comes back at Vamp 85, which I feel like it's more of my favorite than 55 because it is set in a New Year's party, and you see all the celebrities all freaking vamped up and shit. And then it's like a huge they take over like Times Square, New York, and they just fucking take over. Like at this point, it almost makes me think like it got infested into a school, and then as the years more went by, the world just got more infested in vampires, and it was fucking really cool. So they had like vampire versions of Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Freddie Mercury, and Adam Ant. So
fun stuff.
And they also had
not to mention the little Adidas tracksuit vampire.
It's so cool. Like I think it's WFHHN 13. That's
the news station.
The news.
Yeah, WHHN or something like that.
On my laptop, it's so cool.
I always remember too. I think it was like the one that I saw the most when I would just kind of chill in that zone. That was the Adidas tracksuit vamp.
Yeah,
I loved him with his gold chain and his little bucket hat.
Fatback.
Huh?
That was his name, Fatback.
That was his name? Oh, I didn't even know.
That is PHAT.
PHAT, I figured, yeah.
Fat. He wasn't actually fat. It was just Fatback.
Like his Fatback, what's up?
Yeah, it was a Fatback.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was such a cool Scare Zone, especially the music and the show, the choreography, they would have periodically.
Yeah.
It definitely had more of a showcase presence than Vamp 55, but obviously people swear up and down up the ass that Vamp 55 was the best. But honestly, the executed part of the Times Square wins it over for me, but that's just me because they actually went through periodically as if the ball was dropping, it was cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that. It was a really fun zone. I always enjoyed walking around through there and just chilling.
Yeah, but yeah, that was all the originals. Finally, we went
through 30 years of HHN Originals.
And never do you think that Universal also recycles the heck out of their crap? So
yeah, and I'm over here still waiting on a return, an official return of Leave It to Cleaver.
Yeah,
still waiting.
Still waiting. I mean, we kind of, like I said, we kind of had it for Scary Ohio, but you want to.
But I mean, I want like I said, I want an official house just for a Leave It to Cleaver house completely.
Yeah. I know.
And besides, we're still going to do an episode on the history of Cary, Ohio, so.
Yeah, we better.
the scariest town in the world.
Yes, town in the world. But yeah, that was all of it, guys. So if you guys have been listening this far and have been very patient through like the crazy delays that we've been having, but yeah, spooky season is
Almost there.
almost there. I mean, it's here for me already, but it's like, it's starting to actually feel official, especially with all the announcements. The smell of the fog, the soon selling of pumpkin spice, if you guys haven't bought it already at Coffee Shop of Horrors, which I already did already. But yeah, it's getting here. It's very close.
Yeah, we're almost there, guys. Like less than 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
We're there. We're making it.
Fuck
yeah,
you,
like this was a lot of fun. Like this whole like series of episodes was a lot of fun. I always enjoy going back into like HHN history and reading up on stuff that I never got to experience or stuff that I had experienced so long ago that it brought back some really fond memories for me. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, I love looking into the history of HHN. Like I've essentially been doing it since I started going to HHN. I'm like, okay, I gotta know how this all came about and how this all started and all that. But yeah, outside of that, it's just it was a fun 3-episode series, mixed in with like a bunch of announcements for current Horror Night stuff.
It was vomit announcements.
Yes. So, but yeah, that ends our little 3-part series on that. Our next stuff is going to be starting on what's happening, where we delve deeper into what we're going to be seeing in Horror Nights this year. So we're obviously we already mentioned this. We're going to be talking about the Chupacabra, like just an episode solely focused on Chupacabra.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some of the IPs that we're going to be seeing. We haven't decided which ones yet. But I kind of we haven't discussed it. We'll sit down. We'll have a meeting about that, and we'll figure out what we want to crank out there. Because I know there's a bunch of stuff we could talk about too. But yeah, that's really all we got. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's almost here. So, guys, like we said, thank you. I guess I think that's a little bit overdone. Either way, so I guess this is where we kind of do our little housekeeping things. Yeah. And I'm gonna start with myself because at this point you just kept babbling on. I'm like, at this point I might as well just throw myself under the bus. Anyway, hi, I'm HHN Cultist. Hi, Cultist. No, okay, so
this is an AA meeting.
Yeah, this is an AA meeting, and you can find me on Twitter and on YouTube under HHN Cultist. I'm sure sometime this week I'll get around to also talking in a more visual sense of all the announcements we recently got. But I do have 2 videos already out since I have been back. So go check those out, from speculation all the way to reality, since we are almost there through spooky season. And also checked up some of the scare zones when it was in its earliest construction, not the latest construction. But I also do makeup videos inspired about horror related, and also talk about other haunts other than HHN sometimes. And whenever I get the chance, it's a nice little hobby that I like to have on just horror stuff and horror movies and whatnot. But there are also other cool people on this podcast, like Yussef. Where can we find you?
So you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Twitter's on itbeyusef, and Instagram is Yusef1220. I haven't been on either one of those often, not recently. I kind of just took a break from social media for a little bit.
That's fair.
I just needed like a mental break. But I'll be on there pretty soon at some point. But then outside of that, you have our lovely little podcast. We can be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as Sounds from the Grave Podcast. We also have our podcast itself. We are on Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. So if you have a spot to listen to podcasts, we're probably on there. And we really appreciate all the support, you guys. Like, it means a lot, and we're so proud that we made it to 50 episodes, and that some of you have stuck with us for 2 ridiculously crazy years now.
Yeah.
Wowie.
Paninis and
all this started because of the
pandemic. Life and world. So yeah, it's been crazy, y'all.
Yep. It's been fun. But yeah, again, thanks so much for listening. We will catch you very, very soon with our next episode. And we bid you all a good day or good night whenever you're listening to this, and that you stay spooky.
Stay spooky. Bye, y'all.
Bye.